time now for a look at some of the day's business news, and Stephen Carroll's back in the studio with us. Stephen, big announcement from Facebook, corporate results, and this seeing really positive figures coming from Facebook despite this data harvesting scandal.
That's right. Investors were looking for any sign of what exactly this scandal might have done to Facebook's bottom line. In its latest results, of course, the controversy involving passing user data to the political firm Cambridge Analytica. Now, those looking for bad news won't find much. These are a strong set of figures from the world's biggest social network. Facebook's user base continued to grow during the first 3 months of the year. There was a jump too in advertising revenue. Investors impressed with the figures. Facebook shares rose by over 7% in after-hours trading. Ivana Skatala has the story.
It was a controversy that damaged Facebook's image. And yet, according to its first earnings report since the scandal, its business continues to thrive. Revelations last month of a massive leak of up to 87 million users' personal data to firm Cambridge Analytica threw up questions all over the world about how the company polices its platform and controls content and privacy. With founder and chief executive Mark Zuckerberg in the spotlight twice this month in front of US lawmakers. But the social media giant has reported soaring revenue and profit for the first 3 months of the year, with revenue rising nearly 50% to almost $12 billion and net income climbing 63% to nearly $5 billion, only highlighting the company's dominant place in the digital economy. And despite public anger in the wake of the scandal prompting a delete Facebook campaign, its user numbers have continued to grow. With almost 1.5 billion daily users on average and over 2 billion active monthly users at the end of March, up 13%. In a statement, Zuckerberg acknowledged the controversy, saying,
"Despite facing important challenges, our community and business are off to a strong start in 2018. We're taking a broader view of our responsibility and investing to make sure our services are used for good."
Although both advertisers and users agree that Facebook could regulate itself better, it doesn't seem to have deterred either from the social media giant's timeline, for now at least.
Snapchat says it'll stop retaining certain data on users who are under 16 years of age, including their precise location history, in order to comply with new EU privacy rules. The General Data Protection Regulation comes into force next month. It bans companies from processing personal information of under 16s without their parents' or guardians' consent. The move comes after WhatsApp said it would ban users younger than 16 in Europe because of the new rules. Next, Germany's Deutsche Bank has announced a new round of cost-cutting, which will include what it's calling a significant reduction in its workforce. Now, the lender hasn't put numbers on the jobs to be affected yet, but previous reports suggested they would be in the thousands. This is after Deutsche reported lower than expected profits of €120 million for the first quarter of the year. That's down almost 80% on the same period last year. The bank's new CEO also announcing plans to trim back its US investment bank in an effort to meet cost-cutting targets. Well, let's check how that news is going down on the markets and trading today. Deutsche Bank shares starting the day down by 3% in Germany. We had the DAX just opening slightly below the flat line. We haven't got the figures up for you here, but this is the picture on the other European markets. London's FTSE 100 down by 0.2%, a flat open for the CAC 40 in Paris. Lots of results that the markets have to digest today. Over in Asia, Chinese markets trading in the red, but we did have some gains in Tokyo and on the Kospi's, the South Korea Kospi. That's, of course, because of Samsung's results. Samsung makes up a significant proportion of the Kospi index, and their latest results have record operating profits, helping to boost their shares and the Kospi overall. Now, Ford is cutting its US production of cars to just 2 models as part of a cost-cutting drive. It'll keep the Mustang and a new version of the Ford Focus, but stop making the loss-making Fusion and Fiesta models. The company's going to focus more on its trucks and SUVs as well. The car maker reported better than expected profits in the first quarter, though, boosted by the tax cuts in the United States. Air France is to begin balloting staff on a pay rise offer in an effort to end ongoing strike action at the airline. Unions have staged 11 days of strikes so far this year. They're seeking an immediate pay rise of 5.1% for staff. The airline has offered 2% this year, plus an additional 5% over the next 3 years. That's what staff will be voting on. Unions, meanwhile, have announced 4 additional days of strike action on May 3rd, 4th, 7th and 8th. Finally for me, Disney is facing an unusual hiccup in its purchase of Fox's film studios. In 2015, Disney boss Bob Iger banned smoking from all Disney movies, and now anti-smoking activists want him to extend that to all future films for younger audiences that are made by Fox. Could be a big challenge, though. Remember that Fox makes The Simpsons. We know that Marge Simpson's sisters, Patty and Selma, are heavy smokers. They once, had a show on The Simpsons where they had a nicotine-laced tomato called Tomako. So there could be some significant editing involved when Disney takes over.
You say Tomako, I say Tomako. Stephen Carroll with a roundup of the business news now.